So right now in college football, in my opinion, the Florida Gators are one of the most interesting teams in all of the nation, and the reason's quite simple. Because they walked into this season with a healthy amount of momentum on their side, given how strong they were able to close out the summer in terms of recruiting. Fast forward to now, and now we have to ask several questions about the Florida Gators. What's their identity? Are they going to be able to get it together? And most importantly and pressing, are the Florida Gators in trouble? Before we can go about addressing all of those, I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you believe the Florida Gators are in trouble? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and comment down below, as those interactions, though seemingly small, are massive to content creators such as myself. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, I'm going to go about lightly answering some of the questions I posed. Are the Florida Gators in trouble? Well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there are some glaring problems for the Florida Gators. No, in the sense that it's still very early into the season. The Florida Gators are 2-1. They've gotten a really good win against Utah, and it's still so early in the coaching career of Billy Napier as the head coach of the Florida Gators. So you can't just all out hit the panic button yet, but there's certainly some reason for some concern. And first and foremost, we need to talk about the offense. Because currently, Florida ranks as the 98th overall offense, 96th in scoring offense. And what's worse there is this is an offense that really doesn't have an identity. Because right now, what they're relying on is their rushing attack, which ranks 32nd in the nation. If you're a team that has to rely that heavily on the rushing attack, you would like your rushing attack to at least be a top 15 attack in the nation. Very similar to what we saw out of the Florida Gators last year, where Florida may not have had an Alabama or Ohio State level passing game, but in terms of a rushing attack, they were as good as any team in the nation, and they could put a defense on their heels real quick. That doesn't seem to be the Florida Gators of 2022, and in fact, yes, they have tremendous athletes at the running back position and certainly at the quarterback position with Anthony Richardson, but when a team is so one-sided, it gets very tough for them to find offensive success. And what do I mean when I say a team is so one-sided? Well, as much upside as Anthony Richardson possesses, thus far this year, the passing game has not been able to generate anything for the Florida Gators. In fact, through 3 games, Anthony Richardson has no touchdown passes and 4 interceptions to 423 yards. Defenses right now aren't worried about the passing attack from the Florida Gators because to this point, it's been non-existent. Now, luckily for Florida, there's still a lot of opportunity out in front of you. You still have got some players you need to feel confident in. Unfortunately for the Gators, this weekend you take on an offense that has been extremely powerful, that does rank as a top 10 offense, and that's the Tennessee Volunteers. And on top of that, you don't take on Tennessee at home. Because whenever we look at the Florida Gators thus far, they're 2-1, but they've had the benefit of playing in Gainesville. They don't have the luxury of being in Gainesville this weekend. They have to go to Tennessee and take on the Volunteers. And like I said, this is a Volunteers team that's really feeling themselves this year. High Pool has got that team humming, and they look at a team such as the Florida Gators and understand they can get a statement win at home, and what a better time to do it than against an SEC rival in the Florida Gators, especially when so much is still out in front of the Florida Gators. So, are the Florida Gators in trouble? Yes and no. Yes, from the sense of you have got to find some sort of offensive identity and really an identity for your team. No, in the sense of it's still so early in the season. It's Billy Napier's first year as Florida's head coach, and he has a situation where he's got a brand new quarterback that's still developing right in front of our very eyes. So this is an interesting conundrum if you're a Florida Gators fan, because you have to understand at some level that Billy Napier needs patience from the Florida fan base. He needs time to get his guys in there and get the program operating at the level he would like. However, on the flip side, you understand the quality of program you have if you're a Florida Gator fan, and they expect results, and as such, whenever you look at the season you've had thus far, you're excited that you've gotten 2 wins, and in the manner you've gotten some of those wins, where in the closing moments of the game, you've been able to pull out ahead, showing the tenacity your team has. but you are worried about how much struggle has gone into each and every one of those wins, especially when you have teams such as the Georgia Bulldogs in front of you, such as Tennessee this weekend. Florida's in an interesting position, and they're a team that I encourage all college football fans to watch closely because Billy Napier has got a lot of work out in front of him to try and get this team some sort of identity. Because it's not like they have this supreme rushing attack like we saw last year with a passing attack that just isn't getting it going. Their rushing attack isn't as potent as it was a year ago, and their passing attack to this point, to put it mildly, has been non-existent. To go 3 games in a season and to have 0 touchdown passes but 4 interceptions is very telling of an offense that's struggling to find any sort of identity and certainly struggling to find any sort of real legitimate momentum. Defensively, Florida's got some pieces, but they're still a defense that ranks outside the top 30 defense in total defense metrics per the NCAA website in 2022. So it's still a defense that you can be proud of, you can rely on, and I think they've got some really intriguing pieces in the front. But you can't have your defense on the field all the time and expect to come out of these games on top. Hop down in the comments. I can't wait to hear what y'all are thinking about this game this weekend in Tennessee versus Florida. It's a game we'll be breaking down tonight on the kickoff of the Coast to Coast Network, something you can't miss, as I will be kicking it off with Justin Riley and Coach Bull Jones. Hope to see you all over there. I'll be providing that link later this afternoon so that you all know exactly where to go. But on top of that, we'll also be talking about this on Friday's live stream, a topic I'm really excited to get into, and hopefully, if time allows, a standalone video on the topic. But hop down in the comments in the meantime. Let me know what you're thinking about this game. Let me know what you're thinking about the Florida Gators. That's it. See ya.